across the ocean.
From New York City, Barry Dougherty. Dougherty.
Right.
You know, guys, it's not that I have an accent, okay? I just once in a while have a problem with pronunciation.
It was perfect.
It was perfect? Barry, let me first of all introduce you that everybody knows who are we talking about.
Okay.
Barry Dougherty is the man, the publisher behind Friars magazine or Friars Epistle, if you want, and basically knows the most famous people in New York, if I may say so, and on a national basis, of course, is the author of several books.
Yes?
They all have to do with a lot of funny things. Comedy. But we are discovering Barry, his life, his books, step by step, by first of all, starting off, Barry, besides asking you, how are you, Barry?
I'm doing really good. I have to have a sip, though. It's so...
That will be wonderful.
I had this peppercorn steak last night. I'm so dry, but go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. So how did you sleep? Overlooking the ocean?
Oh, it was beautiful, except, you know, I opened the curtain thinking I'm going to see the ocean, but it's pitch black out there.
So you got up very early?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful place to just hang.
That's what we are, Gurney's Inn, overlooking the ocean, guys, by the way, where we are doing the show. Barry, you came all the way from New York to visit us today. Thank you for coming out to the Hamptons.
You're welcome.
Barry, would you tell us a little bit about your family heritage? Tell us about the package.
I have, my mother's side is Irish and English, and my father's side is Irish and Swedish.
Woo!
So.
Here comes the distinctiveness. You can tell in your body language, in your the way you're pronouncing certain terms, there is definitely the Great Britain in you. There is no doubt about it.
Which is why Dougherty was almost on the mark there.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yes, I understand. Barry, tell us a little bit about the very beginnings. Little Barry.
Oh.
What did little Barry like school?
No, well, first of all, little Barry had more hair.
Yeah.
But
Thank you very much.
He wasn't
for sharing.
He wasn't a huge fan of school. I got through it. It was fine. It wasn't the happiest time to be in school.
You could have lived without it.
It was so much more fun at 3 o'clock to just run and play.
Yes.
But I had a good time.
Yes, so it was okay. Did you know that you would eventually turn out to be a writer already then? Did you have any idea?
I probably didn't. I probably knew at that point I would go into some form of comedy. While I wasn't the class clown, but I made the class clowns laugh.
Yeah.
So you know you got something there
Yeah.
if you can pull that off.
Yeah.
But I was the good kid in school, so
Yeah.
I wasn't the cutoff.
Yeah.
The writing, I think it started also, I want to say in grammar schoolish. I had an aunt who used to write poems. She wrote songs. And she sort of encouraged me to write these goofy poems that I would come up with as
You
a
remember
kid.
one of those goofy poems, early goofy poems?
I'm ashamed to say I actually might remember one.
That would be wonderful.
All right, but wait, you know, I was like, 10, okay?
Yes, that's fine. That's fine. That's
All right,
fine.
wait. Christmas time is here at last. Hurry up and get a glass. Santa Claus will need a drink, otherwise he will not think.
Barry Dougherty.
And now everyone is returning my books.
Yeah.
They're turning the channel.
No. Well, I have to tell you, those poems, if I may consider them as poems, which I don't think so, are certainly very more witty, more hilarious, and most unprintable than the ones about Santa Claus. And by the way, Barry, this particular book, I glanced through it, and I have to tell you, I couldn't put it down because it is so, oh my God.
It's absolutely filthy, isn't it
Yes.
wonderful? Yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness. And having dinner with you, it's like, I can't believe you wrote this.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I had this parochial school background, so
Yes.
you can only imagine.
Yeah.
Like, I finally let it out.
Yes, he finally let it out. Barry, how did it start? I mean, one doesn't just run the magazine for the Friars Club doesn't just become this automatically? How did it all start? I mean, there must be some kind of a background in between, or are you doing this already since you were 20?
I guess there's been growth. I mean, since I was 20, I've gone through a lot. I mean, I worked at Macy's part-time. You know, I worked in an ad
Didn't we all
agency.
at one point?
Yes.
You see, in Montauk, we are saying everybody used to work at Gurney's. You are probably everybody used to work at Macy's.
We worked at Macy's,
Yes,
exactly, and
yeah.
everyone I know, I think, worked there.
So what did you do as a news reporter?
I used to actually report. I was for Cablevision out on, well, further west, I
Yes,
guess.
Nassau?
But I used to report on all the goings-on out in Montauk.
No.
Yeah, like runaway deers.
Yes.
There was a lizard loose once. Like, I suddenly had all these animal
Yes.
stories. But it was 5 minutes of news, of on-camera news.
Yes.
So
Was
I
that on Channel 12?
It was, but it was before Channel 12 became
Channel 12.
Channel 12.
Yes,
It was
yes.
when we literally had 5 minutes.
And lizards
on the air.
ran away? And
Oh, there was all these animal stories out east.
lions? Ever any lions
I
run away?
never had. That's a new thing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, not in the old days.
Yes.
But and then we reported on politics and whatnot. But a lot of it was writing the news stories, writing different magazines, shows that we had put on the air at that time.
Yeah.
So it was it was a lot more serious writing than I know. I mean, it is very serious writing about runaway deers, trust me.
Yeah.
But it was much more staid
Right.
than what I do now for the Friars Club.
How were you introduced to the Friars Club?
It was very innocent.
Yeah.
I had been working at the Museum of Broadcasting.
Yeah.
And
Barry, where is the Museum of Broadcasting? Refreshing our memory.
it's in Midtown. They've actually moved from when I started with them, but they're next to the 21 Club on 52nd Street.
Okay.
And it's a great place. It houses all these tapes and radio shows and old TV shows.
Yeah.
And you can go, you do a lot of research there. And they have exhibitions of different shows and whatnot. So I used to sort of maintain the public areas. I oversaw all the areas that were open to the public.
Yeah.
So between that and Macy's, I really don't ever want to see the public again.
Okay.
From there, but then they have a phrase, oh yeah, they restructured. So I was laid off. And it's not as fascinating a tale, though, because I just knew somebody who worked at the Friars Club.
Yeah.
So I went there.
Yeah.
Just to help out, you know, even as a temp, just to pay the bills.
Yeah.
But I always was writing, so I had freelance articles written in the Times at that time.
Oh, very nice.
And what happened was the man who used to do the Epistle,
Yeah.
he had passed away. So they said, well, wait, you just had this freelance article in the
Yeah,
Times.
yeah.
You can do this.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, yeah, I could write, but it's a far cry from publishing.
Yeah.
But I pulled it off. I managed, and
Hey,
now,
it's
you know,
America.
It's America, exactly.
Yes, that's the American dream. Barry, what do you think why you are in the show today? Guys, we have to take a break, and we'll, my God, don't go anywhere after these messages. It's funny, the American dream is discovering Barry Dougherty. Barry, what the heck is the Friars Club? What are they doing there? I mean, we understand already it's a club with a lot of famous people. Obviously, famous people have a lot of money, or we assume they do. What are they doing there?
They're spending it.
Okay.
They're spending that money. What it is, a lot of people don't really realize what we do. We're most famous for our roasts,
Okay.
which is what the book primarily is about.
Yeah.
And what the roast is,
Yeah.
is we select a guest of honor,
Yeah.
and then we select all these comedians to get up on a
Give us a
dais.
rundown of the comedians. Are they part of the club, or are they people you're hiring?
Well, we don't hire anyone. That's the beauty of the Friars. We want people who have money, but we're not going to pay anybody.
Okay.
So
Okay,
people
okay.
who come there, you know, it's sort of the thrill of being as a part of the Friars
Yes.
and a Friars event
Yes.
that they'll come and sort
Yeah.
of participate. And you know, we have some of the old time comedians. You have Jack Carter, Norm Crosby, Milton Berle when he was alive was one of the bigger roast names.
Yeah.
Johnny Carson in his time was a huge man who used to be a roast master, what we call.
Okay.
That's sort of the MC. You're the roast master of this show.
Yeah, I am. I didn't know.
But you've got to drop a few of the 4-letter words. You see, that's where it gets cagey.
Okay.
So because what the roast is, they take this guest of honor, and they basically obliterate their ego through sometimes the filthiest of jokes or comments or stories or whatever.
Okay, and people like that.
You know, it's funny. We have a motto, and all the friars say we only roast the ones we love.
Okay.
And for some reason, that seems to placate the guest of honor.
Yeah.
They just buy into that, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
And they think, okay, then this is great, they love me.
Yeah.
And so they're able to sit through all of this, because it's also done
So
with
we
love.
only roast the ones we love. And when we really get down and bad, then we love you most.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Because even Carol Burnett just told me just the other day, she said, because we had a dinner for her.
Yeah.
And all of our dinners are even, you know, that's much more sophisticated.
Yeah.
And of course, they'll throw in a few of these jokes.
Yeah.
And she even said, you know, they had a few zingers for me, and I would have been very disappointed if they didn't, because that's how I knew they cared.
Yeah.
So it's really important to the Friars, and that is what makes the Friars roast so special.
Yeah.
Because people do think, oh my God, look at what they're saying, these horrible things. But they're not. They're saying it to people they know. They know what gets these
That's
people.
what you have to expect what you get.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Or you're getting what you're expecting.
Well, also, if you
Do I make any sense?
Well, to me it did, but you know what it is? You really have to have a thick hide.
Yeah.
You know, we roasted Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
And we had scheduled to do him on a certain date.
Yeah.
And the day before, he flipped his Dodge Viper,
Yeah.
you know, and ended up in the Betty Ford Clinic. Oh. Now, there goes our event. Nothing personal to Kelsey. But B, he was such a good sport that when he got out of the Betty Ford Clinic, he did agree to honor his commitment, and he came on board and did it.
Yes.
Now, he knew full well that they weren't going to ignore what he had just gone through.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, David Hyde Pierce, who plays Niles, his brother on the show, he was the roast master. And his very first line, he got up there and he had his cards, and he said, "Hi, my name is Kelsey Grammer, and I'm an alcoholic." He said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got my cards mixed up with Kelsey's." So, you know, right off the bat, they started.
Oh, my goodness.
And also at that time, I think he was being accused of some dabbling with an underage girl. That, of course, also took center stage.
Hit him.
So, but he was such a great sport about it, and he took it all very well, because that's what you have to do. You can't really sit there and cry.
How was it with John Travolta?
Well, we honored John and Kelly Preston together.
His wife.
That's his wife. First of all, what John said was, "I will do a dinner.
Yeah.
I will not do a roast."
Yeah.
So they know what the score is.
Okay.
And they also they had a great time, and
Well, you could have roasted Kelly.
well, yeah, I guess, but you know, sometimes it's actually tough roasting women.
Yeah.
You know, people, especially Kelly's very sweet and demure.
Yeah.
You have to be a tough woman to do that. But they all get up at the end and they make a presentation.
Yes. So it's easier to roast men.
It seems to be. The women we've roasted in the past.
Yeah.
You've had Phyllis Diller,
Yeah.
Lucille Ball. Sophie Tucker was the very first woman in 1952. I don't even know if a lot of people even know Sophie Tucker.
I was not even born.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in her day, she was this hard as nails broad.
Yeah.
So those are the kinds of women we roast. We roasted Whoopi Goldberg and had a very infamous roast for that one because Ted Danson came out in blackface.
No.
And that just changed the face of the roast.
We can read about these roasts and the most famous quotes, comments made, the roast in your book. Yes?
Oh, these are transcripts,
Yeah.
and everything is in there. And even behind the scenes, I spoke to a lot of people to say, you know, what happened backstage? So that's in there too.
Is in there too. Wow. Well, I have to tell you, glancing through the book, I turned a couple of times red, and I thought, "Oh my goodness!" I was like, "Ooh!"
You know what was fascinating for me to write it? The spell check on my computer.
Yeah.
It can't figure out the simplest of 4-letter words.
Yes.
It was just fascinating.
Yes. We couldn't. I mean, it is. There are a lot of 4-letter words I don't even I ever heard about. So, but asking my husband, and so I agree with you. This part about male are a little bit more, I don't know, harsh, rough, or can take more. I don't know,
It's
but
also
he
the
knew them.
audience, though.
Is that what it
is?
is?
The audience watching women being roasted versus men, the audience is cringing. Oh, you can't say that to her.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, the Friars sort of know their audience as well.
The Friars do like to drink.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
It's juice.
Maybe there's just juice in yours, okay? In mine is the real thing, guys. No, seriously, Barry. You became the publisher of the Friars Epistle. The Friars Epistle is the magazine which is basically showing some very, very famous people. You want to just tell us who is on your last cover here? Joy Behar, by the way, also a steady in the Hamptons. If you guys can get a little close up here.
Now, Joy also, she has entered into Friars history because she was the first female roast master. They didn't let women in the Friars Club until 1988. So they had a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
So in 97, we roasted Danny Aiello.
Yeah.
And she was the roast master for that.
And how did she do?
Oh, she was great.
Yes.
She was absolutely great.
So she really gave it to him?
Oh, sure.
Yes, okay. You guys are eating in the club? You are having dinner?
Yes, because that's the thing. People assume we just do these roasts, but we're a private club.
Okay.
So we have this clubhouse that
Yeah.
we call the Monastery.
Where is it?
It's in Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah.
It's on 55th Street.
Yeah.
And it's in this beautiful Victorian mansion
Yeah.
that was built in 1909.
Okay.
We didn't move into it until 1957. We sort of roamed around prior to that in different
Okay.
areas.
Yeah.
And you can go, we have restaurants, we have bars,
Yes.
you can play
You can hang
pool.
out there?
You can hang
Hang
out.
out, okay.
We have a manicurist, we
No.
have a barber.
Yes.
It's one of the only places that still has a barber
Yes.
as opposed to a hairstylist.
Now, what's the fee, honestly, to join the club?
It varies, actually. So there really is no honest answer for that.
By the way, the president of Hamptons Television, WVVH, Ernie and Greg Shamizi, presidents, CEO, are also a member of your club.
Correct.
And did you ever roast them? Any of them?
Well, not in the public forum, but in the dining room, you can always hear a roast or two being thrown their way, yes.
Okay. Because when you have to promise me, when you really officially roast any of them, I shall be there.
You'll be the roast master.
I would love to do this. Guys, we have to take a break, and we are coming back after these messages. We're still on the American Dream Show with Barry Dougherty. And we are just discovering, or I don't know if I have to discover this book. I don't know. I just am so enchanted with the title. How to Do It Standing Up. Well, can you explain?
The rest of it is the Friars Club Guide to Being a Comic, a Cut-Up, a Card, or a Clown.
Yeah.
It just helps to go the whole road.
Okay.
It's a book on how to be a stand-up comic.
Okay.
And I sat down with several comedians that spanned generations.
Yeah.
And they talked to me about their first time, their worst time, how they put their act together, what their gimmick is.
Yeah.
And it basically is supposed to help. Well, it's twofold, actually. But there's that up-and-coming comic or that person that says, you know what, I'm funny. I think I can get up and do this.
Yes.
And everybody thinks that the first time they do something, that's the first time it happened.
Yeah.
And this book lets them know, no, it's not. There are people who treaded this before you.
Yeah.
And this way you read it and you can say, oh, I see that. Joy Behar had a horrible time her first time up.
Yeah.
Or Lily Tomlin was mortified the first
Tell
time.
us about Lily Tomlin.
Lily's stand-up is very different from what people knew her when she started doing on Laugh-In.
Yeah.
And she had all these characters.
Yeah.
But her stand-up it's sort of more ethereal and it's unique.
Yeah.
And one of her very first time, she worked at the Improv.
Yeah.
And she used to wear thrift shop clothing.
She does.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, she used to. Now
Okay.
she can afford the real.
No,
thing.
okay.
But so she got dolled up in this, boa and this gown from the 30s. And the Improv is on the east side,
Yeah.
Upper East Side.
Yeah.
She went to the theater district, and at that time, it was early 60s. There were the people who go to the theater.
Yeah.
Their limos would be outside waiting for them to come back. So she went up to this limo driver and she said, here's $10.
Yeah.
Drive me
Yeah.
to the Improv,
Yeah.
and then I'll get you'll get back in time.
Okay.
So she gets in the car and she told the Improv, which used to be, they had a window overlooking the street, I think First Avenue, wherever they were. So she made sure that they had the blinds open.
Yeah.
So she pulled up in this limo
Yeah.
and comes out in this getup
Yeah.
and then goes on stage.
Yeah.
So, she had this whole presentation going on.
From A to Z planned,
Yes.
and she needed, okay, I got
Exactly.
you. But this book basically is going to tell me and help me how to do it standing up.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll talk you through it. Every single one of these people,
Yeah.
right before they went on, they either were vomiting or went through diarrhea or
Okay.
had to have a few belts
Okay.
or whatever.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people think, oh, I'm funny, I'm going to get up and do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And when the moment comes,
Then you are
all that
really
kicks in.
okay. Well, I have to tell you, the first couple of years doing the shows and being in front of the camera, I had a little bit of a butterfly feeling in my stomach, which of course eventually disappeared. Because when you're doing television that so many years, it's like, so what?
but it's a little healthy to have a little buzz in there.
Nothing wrong with a little adrenaline.
Yeah, because it keeps you on your toes. What fascinates me is it's a business being a comedian. And I don't think people realize that either. They think, oh, that person's funny, so they're getting up and they're telling a joke.
Yes.
What they don't realize is what's going on in here for that comedian. That comes out there and they think beforehand, I'm going to do my Jewish Borscht Belt jokes.
Yeah.
And they come out there and they suddenly notice, it's the Irish Brigade whatever that's sitting there, and they're thinking, in that moment, I can't do these jokes I have.
You have to analyze within a split second
Sure.
your audience.
And now you've got to go into the file
And
say,
so
now
you
I
are
need
serving,
something else.
exactly. Okay, I
Yeah.
got you.
And it's a business. And then there's another thing, they're going to tell it, I'm going to try a new joke, and they tell it, and it's so not working.
Yeah.
So then they think, okay, I'm either never going to use this again, or I'm going to try it on a different audience.
Yeah.
So it's a business.
So the worst what can possibly happen to you is if nobody laughs.
There is nothing worse.
Yes.
I mean, I've gone working on that book. I went to so many open mic nights at different comedy clubs.
Yeah.
It's so painful. I mean, there is nothing more painful than hearing a pin drop after a punchline.
Barry Dougherty, what are you doing in your free time?
Free time. I don't know if there's anything called that in my life, but I don't know. I have fun. I think everything sort of evolves about having a good time. For
You
me.
are working out?
So I am.
It's actually a question. Are you working out?
I dabble.
Yes.
I'm not. You know what it is? I got no discipline.
Yeah.
And every New Year's I say, okay, let's do it, because
Yeah.
I like to jump on everyone's bandwagon, same thing. And by the 3 weeks into it, it's like, okay, I'm going to have just that donut
I
instead.
would have, honestly, we all would have thought that you are a very disciplined person who works out every day because you look awesome.
Thank you.
I can't believe this. I mean, you just are in, if you would have a little more hair,
I know,
you know,
Oh, you had to bring it up? I didn't think they noticed.
then you would be model potential.
You know what I do if I go out in the sun?
Yeah.
And I still have this thing where I still think I have hair.
Yeah.
So I only put the tanning stuff up to here.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then I'm like, oh, what happened?
Barry, you must have lost your memory a long time ago.
It went with the hair.
Yeah, that went with the hair. Is that what it is? Okay.
And it's from hanging around a lot of the Friars. A lot of them lost the memory,
Yes,
too.
yes, yes. Oh my goodness. Barry, give us a rundown. All the most famous names. Who have you seen
lift
lately?
your feet, Barry's
Come
dropping names.
Come on, drop names.
Oh, gosh. Well, Milton Berle,
Yeah.
in his day, well, when he was alive, I met him. Norm Crosby, Rob Reiner, Barbara Walters, Anthony Hopkins,
Oh.
John Travolta.
Oh, nice. Well, we know already Johnny didn't like the roast. John Travolta.
He doesn't like the
Yeah.
roast, but he liked his dinner.
He liked it.
He sang a cute song at the end with
Yes, he did.
Kelly. So that's what they do. They all have to make this presentation at the end.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, they're nervous.
Yeah.
And but like even Carol Burnett was saying, you know, she was very nervous when she had to think about what to say because it was her peers.
Yeah.
And she turned it into a song. And that's what John and Kelly did.
Yes.
And it all actually way back when as I said, we started in 1904. In 1908, Victor Herbert,
Yeah.
who was a composer, he wrote Babes in Toyland, whatever. He wrote the Friars song
Yeah.
because he was so nervous about making a speech.
How does it go?
Oh, well, the joke about this song is,
Yeah.
it's like, I call it the Star Spangled Banner of the
Yeah.
Friars Club because it's a wonderful, beautiful song, but
Okay.
nobody can ever remember the words or how it
Okay,
goes.
yeah.
But it's something like, here's to the Friars, yeah, da da da, and that's as far as we all go.
Can you just say it?
I just did. That's
That
all I
was it?
know. Here's to the Friars, da 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 da.
Okay. And what do? They raise their glass then? I guess here's to the Friars. Yeah.
Well, they used to, you know, have guys in monks' robes come in singing this song, but when they really did know how to sing it, it was so slow, because you know it was written by Victor Herbert in 1908. You know, so over the years they sort of picked up the pace a little, and then they just stopped singing it altogether.
Come on, guys. Let's help them. Here's to the Friars. Here's to the Friars. Here's to the Friars.
Wait, actually, it is Here's to the Friars. Here's
Thanks
to them all.
for tuning in the American Dream Show with Barry Dougherty, the man behind the Friars Club. Woo! Here's to the Friars.
Dreams of freedom, to have the choice to be what we can be, finding success you thought couldn't be yours,